take our government back and put it back on our side and become that exceptional. The policies over the last 2 years, the principles and the values and the free market policies that have made America strong for more than 200 years, they are under heavy attack. And these are being threatened by an extreme liberal political movement that wants to fundamentally transform America. We were promised that. 5 days out, candidate Barack Obama had told us what was going to happen. And too many people, though, just wanted so much that hope, that opportunity that he had promised. And now we know that without that flowery rhetoric, it was empty promises, it was false hope. But we had been warned. These transformers, they're promoted by a complicit leftist media. I call them the lamestream media because I don't think that they represent the mainstream of America. And I know it's not a smart thing to pick a battle with those who buy ink by the barrel full, but I don't know, I'm kind of wired that way. It's just sort of can't help it. I call it like I see it. And when they get something wrong and they have an obvious bias in their reporting when they are supposed to be about just the facts, man, well, then I do call them out. And that's probably why I don't have the greatest relationship with the mainstream media. Imagine that. But that far left media, though, and the leftist elites who want to make us feel like we just don't have enough sense to understand that this transformation of America ultimately will be good for us. So I think we have plenty of sense, and we certainly have this knowledge of what is going on, and that is why, again, we're here to say, no, enough is enough, and we're going to turn things around. These leftist elites work to destroy the very capitalist system that created the wealth that they so enjoy and the opportunities that they've been able to seize. And you know, you probably don't like the idea of taxing success any more than I do, but maybe, you know, there's a couple of guys I think I could make an exception for lately, as these elitist billionaires who are funding some of the leftist agenda come on down the pike. Today, folks, we have a president and a Congress who seem determined to transform our once prosperous, the most voluntarily generous, safest, and healthiest country on the planet, wanting to transform that into an America that most of us would not recognize. An America that's dangerously in debt and has a bleaker economic future. An out-of-control government that spends without ever bothering to ask who's going to pay for it all. And I hear this beautiful sound of life. I hear a child, a baby in the audience, and I think, oh my goodness, what we are doing to this child with our selfish, short-sighted decisions today for our wants and our needs. We're mortgaging this individual, this beautiful human being's future, his or her opportunities. We are engaging in generational theft, and that's immoral and it's unethical, and heaven forbid that we do this to the next generation of Americans. But that's what's going on with economic decisions that are short-sighted being made in this Congress and in the White House today. We've got politicians borrowing billions in foreign debt to bail out and pay off their chosen entities, and then those chosen entities turn right around and contribute to that politician's coffers. That's unethical, it's corrupt, it's not an American system that we have to stand for. And then too, we've got a president who apologizes left and right, these apology tours, serving up all of this apology tour as some kind of transformative foreign policy, but all it is doing is making us less strong and less safe. Now, when we see a government that is refusing to protect our own borders, then we know that this transformation is not good. It is nonsense. When we see a Congress takeover of health care down the throats of the American people in the form of Obamacare, the mother of all unfunded mandates. And then this Congress skips town without passing a budget or stopping the largest tax increase in U.S. history that's going to just slam us to the mat come January 1. They skip town. They don't lift a finger to stop the tax hikes that are coming. January 1, $3.8 trillion will be the equivalent of the tax hikes over these coming years. And so many small businesses are going to be forced to tap out with all this uncertainty that is created by this January 1st date that is looming with tax increases. Well, when we see that, we know that we're on the wrong track. No, in America, with less freedom and less opportunity and lowered expectations, run by a detached and a distant and an arrogant kind of ruling class over us that doesn't listen, doesn't seem to care about the middle class, about, as Ronald Reagan would put it respectfully, he'd call all of us the little guy. Well, when they're not listening to the little guy, I have to ask you, are you ready to take it back and put government back on the side?
Yes. Absolutely. Do it.
Hey.
Let's throw the bomb salt.
Yeah. Couldn't have said it better myself. There, summed it up. Throw the bones out. Amen, brother. You betcha. As he's so eloquently putting it, what he is saying is truly the time has come for us to stand up and take our government back. For the little guy, as Reagan would respectfully call all of us. 2 weeks from now, that's exactly what I believe the American people are going to do. This country needs leaders with the courage to make the tough calls, who believe in smaller, smarter government and lower federal taxes and policies that build up America and don't tear her down, don't tear down her businesses, her families, we as individuals, but have policies that can empower us and allow our spirit to soar again. We need leaders who will stand up for that little guy and listen once again. Because ultimately, what we need right now in America, we need jobs. We need jobs. In almost 2 years, of the liberal policies that have failed our economy, they've driven America to the brink. And it's so bad, even his own economic advisors in the White House are jumping ship faster than, rats off the Titanic. These economic advisors, they're all like, ooh, wasn't me, I'm out of here. Wasn't me. These czars, these advisors, they're scurrying back to academia and they're kind of running for the hills. They're running from their policies that are resulting in huge debt being accumulated and enormously large deficits and high unemployment. Yet the president had promised that unemployment wouldn't go above 8%. Remember, it was at 7.9%. Wouldn't go above 8% if only Congress would just rush through that nearly $1 trillion stimulus package. Really, it's been a boondoggle, and nobody seemed to have time to read it, as some folks were crafting it, and they were really busy, too busy to read it, and no time for debate, and that's the Pelosi way, as she says, you got to pass the thing first before we find out what's in it. That's what she was Obamacare. Wow, when I was governor, some of those dollars that were coming down into Alaska, I vetoed those dollars because I knew that, basically I looked at a lot of the stimulus dollars as being bribes to states where, it was so tempting to take this money, and the legislatures, they hold the purse strings to a state budget. They wanted to take the money, and for a lot of conservative governors, the legislature would go around. There was language within the stimulus bill to make sure that the lawmakers could be the ones to go around a governor and take the money anyway. And through litigation, there were threats all the time of lawmakers saying, well, we'll sue the governor even, we'll somehow go around and make sure that we get this money. But I was warning our lawmakers that this isn't free money. Ultimately, it does come out of our pocket. You can't just print more money. Oh, yeah, I guess they do think that they can print more money, because about a week from now, we're going to see monetizing of our debt, where basically you're going to see some more free money printed. So as governor, I vetoed some of those funds, knowing, thank you, vetoing some of those because fat strings are attached to federal monies when they come to a state. Well, you have to become more beholden to a big centralized government in Washington, D.C. if you accept their money. They have more control over how that money is spent. So, in vetoing, my Republican-led legislature overrode my veto because too many of the Republicans, even within the machine, thought that somehow, some way, it was going to be free money and nobody would have to be held accountable.